Well, good morning. My name is Jason Kelly, and I am the director of the Chafee Center for International Business. Today, I have the honor of welcoming you all to campus to this timely event, and wait until you see what the SBDC has prepared for you. At the Chafee Center, we are the state's designated trade office. We prioritize Rhode Island exports, and to that end, we support building an international business ecosystem here in Rhode Island. Today's Business Readiness event is a unique opportunity to build on that ecosystem. I'm so proud of the relationship and the partnership, the growing collaboration between the SBDC, the Bryant College of Business, and the Chafee Center. I'm a comic books guy, so I love a good origin story, and the origin story for that partnership started precisely in this room at our Global Trade Summit in September of last year. So naturally, I have to take out your calendars and mark down September 24th because we have that event again in this room later on this year. And boy, it's a great event. We like to think that we tell everybody what they need to know about what's going on right now. So at that event, our keynote speaker spoke about cultural literacy and how powerful it was in his development. And that led to another event, a follow-up event in December, which was a partnership with the business school and the Chafee Center, where we talked about cultural literacy and navigating global strategy. And the SBDC participated on that event, which now led to this event, which we are so proud to be a part of. It's my hope that we can continue on this momentum. So I'd like to just be so bold as to give some advice. I've been in this position for about a year. I was in the private sector for 30 years, and boy, as business people, we know that times are changing and all of the challenges and opportunities we have right now. My advice is to engage with higher ed institutions, engage with Bryant, engage with URI, and beyond. Open innovation is more important than ever, especially with rapid technology change. Higher education can serve as a powerful conduit for both innovation and workforce talent. At Chafee, we provide training, we support trade missions. My second plug now is going to be for a trade mission that we're going to do to the UK the third week in July of this year. My final thought is that how Bryant best connects to providing the services that our companies needs is through our award-winning business practicum, where companies work with students in a robust consultancy. I have a little book right here that talks about that program. When I was in the private sector, I participated 3 times. It was extremely beneficial to my company. So you can go over and to that table, there's a QR code if you want to sign up. I think that there are still 10 spots available in our summer cohort, the MBA cohort, and we look forward to engaging with you. The Chafee Group, we're over at the BELC, the Business Entrepreneurship and Leadership Center, which boasts over 10 innovation labs, and part of our role is to connect those assets, those innovation assets with you. So come over and visit us at the Chafee Center over at the BELC. So boy, enjoy the day today. I have the good fortune of introducing the Vice President for Athletics and Recreation, Bill Smith. Bill.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a great morning so far and having coffee and some of the good food over there from AVI. On behalf of President Gittell, it's absolutely an honor to welcome all of you to Bryant University for today's summit. I mean this in all sincerity. We are humbled, we are honored, we are all pumped up to be the only university, the only team base camp selected by FIFA in all of New England. With the competitions, thank you. And of course, it's one thing to just be named a team-based camp or be in the catalog. It's a completely other one to get selected. And so really also honored that Team Ghana selected us. They're going to be showing up on our campus around June 10th and bringing all of their fans to our community to watch them and support them. So we're really pumped up about that as well. This is going to be the most watched sporting event in history, right? The biggest ever. And when I say we, I mean all of us, we're going to be right in the middle of it, which is fantastic, right? 6 billion people are going to be watching these games. That's incredible, 6 billion. Estimates that we have, and I think they're confirmed with all of you, we have approximately 900,000 people that'll be coming to our state. Our involvement began with this. My deputy athletic director got a phone call from one of our field partners. He does great field work for us, and of course he's was selected by FIFA to review all the fields and the pitches to make sure that they're FIFA compliant. And he said, hey, been there, did a lot of work on your campus with all your facilities. We think, I've recommended you guys to FIFA. Would you be interested in this thing? We're just like, absolutely, without a doubt. And I have to say, first and foremost, when we started it off, reason 1A, it was mostly self-serving. Why do we want to be a team-based camp for FIFA? We want eyeballs. We want people seeing our beautiful campus and our facilities. And then second, after that, right, once they see your beautiful campus and your facilities, now they're going to take a look at academics. They're going to take a look at athletics. And so incredibly proud of our academics. We are top 1% in the nation when it comes to ROI, return on investment. And that's why being a parent, I can tell you this, that's why we should all be sending our kids to school. We want that ROI. And then from an athletic standpoint, incredibly proud of our athletic programs. We want more people to find out about them. And I'm not sure how many of you know this, but in all of Division I, you're talking all the big schools and everybody else out there, we were at one point in time last year, deep into the season, we're number 2 in the country. Right, so this little small campus and our little small programs, we were the second best team in the country, ranked by the coaches and the media at that point in time. We finished number 10 in the country. We got robbed in the game, to be honest with you. Again, I can say it now, it's far enough away. Wasn't a big fan of the officiating, but so incredibly proud. We want people to find out about all of that. So, of course, that was reason 1A. Why are you going to put in all this time and effort? It was self-serving. But 1B came apparent really quickly. And that was not only just our campus, we wanted eyeballs on this incredible state of Rhode Island and everything that we have to offer. We want the entire world to know about it. And when you're talking about 6 billion people watching and 900,000 coming to our great state, that's what's going to happen. We're going to become known worldwide. That's not just about our beaches and our hotels and restaurants, which are world-renowned, right? I mean, the best. There's no question. We all know that. But it's about all of our businesses and everybody and all of you out here today. And all of you and the beaches and the hotels and restaurants also played an incredible role in us being selected as a team-based camp by FIFA and by Team Ghana. So a huge thank you to everybody in this room today for all you do, because you played a huge role as well in us being selected. I do have to say, securing a team-based camp was a team effort. This was not an easy thing to do. Negotiating with FIFA and having the site visits constantly was difficult, to say the least. And it was led by my deputy athletic director, who got that first phone call, John Rupert. He played point on everything. He's fantastic. So a huge thank you to him. But we also have our partners with the Rhode Island Sports Commission, Mary Talbot and Jonathan Walker. Huge thank you to both of you, as well as Liz Tanner, the great Liz Tanner who's the executive director of Ocean State 26. Liz has been a great partner with us as well. But without those 3 individuals, there's no way that we could selected as a team-based camp. So a huge thank you to all of you. We did not get selected as a team-based camp without incredible facilities, which I had mentioned earlier. And we have an incredible partner in Navigant Credit Union and the Navigant Credit Union Fieldhouse, which will be home for Team Ghana during their time period here. And so incredibly grateful to their partnership. We have state-of-the-art, and I really hope everybody gets a chance to get there and give a tour. If you ever want a tour of it, give me a call. If I can't do it, I'll have somebody there for you. We're incredibly proud of this facility. It is first class in every way, shape, and form. Just opened this past fall. State-of-the-art equipment room, training room with hydrotherapy, which includes hot tub and ice tub. So if you want a cold plunge after this cold, long winter, we have the opportunity for you as it's starting to warm up. But that was incredibly important, believe it or not, to have the ice tub and the hot tub right side by side right next to the locker room. These teams' recovery is a huge thing for all of them at this point. It will be at that point in their seasons. So that played a huge role in it. Strength and conditioning center, which is just, again, feet away from their locker rooms and tiered meeting rooms and everything else. So everybody was absolutely blown away by our facility. So incredibly grateful to our partner, Navigant Credit Union, for their partnership in helping us to build that facility. Location, right? So huge. Location playing a huge role, not just for us getting selected, but for all of us here. Just 25 miles from Gillette Stadium. I can say that in here. Please don't say that I said that. According to FIFA, it's Boston Stadium, right? And so what does that look like for a team? It means no flights, right? Of course, they're going to have to fly to certain locations, but for their game at Gillette, at Boston Stadium, no flights. They're going to jump on a bus and go up there and be right there for it, a short ride, which means more time for planning and practice scheduling, which is important to all of them here. And so location, that's why we're all here today, right? We're so close to Boston and all the events that are going on there. And of course, we got to capitalize on this opportunity and all that's going to occur there. There's going to be 7 matches, including a quarterfinal, all in Boston. And Team Ghana being here at Bryant also means all of their traveling fans are going to be here. And again, it has been crazy. We've had reach outs from so many different groups from Ghana saying, can we stay on your campus? And of course, initially right away, hey, that sounds like a great idea, you know, right? Why don't we convert some of our townhouses into, you know, almost like Airbnbs and stuff. You know, speaking with FIFA, they're just like, no way can you do it. We have incredibly safe and secure campus, and that's another important point for them, selecting us one way on campus with a security guard there, one way off campus. And they're learning a lot about World Cup fans, and they're just like, you have those fans on your campus, that bus is driving onto campus. People could be jumping on top of the bus just to be able to see and be a part of it. So we're like, oh, okay, we got that. So all of that's going to be open and available, of course, to everybody out there for the fans. They won't be staying on our campus, unfortunately. An estimated $330 million in economic impact. That's an incredible amount of money. Of course, we are here, and when I say we, that I mean Bryant. We're here to partner with all of you so that we can make sure you get that $330 million and more. We want as much flowing into this state as possible. To that end, I'll be traveling with a team from Bryant University that includes fellow Vice President Eddie Tibaldi. Eddie's not here today, and Robin Ward from Alumni Relations here at Bryant, as well as Liz Tanner. Liz is going to be going over there with us as well, and that will be in late April. We have that visit scheduled to try to figure everything out as far as shots and everything else that we got to do for the visa, but all fun stuff. The whole purpose of that visit, right, is just make connections, develop partnerships, and do everything that we can to make sure that Team Ghana, when I say Team Ghana, the football team, Team Ghana, as well as all their fans, when they come here to Rhode Island, they're going to have a first-class experience here in every way, shape, and form. The Boston World Cup schedule, it begins on June 13th, and I don't want to bore everybody, but just go quickly through the game format. June 13th is Haiti versus Scotland. June 16th is Bolivia, Suriname, or Iraq versus Norway. June 19th will be Scotland versus Morocco. June 23rd is England versus Ghana. That will be a big one for us, and I think it would be a big one for our community. I would expect, or what we would hope for, is some type of celebration leading up to that. That's a big one for Ghana. June 26th is Norway versus France. And then beginning June 29th, we're going to the knockout round, the round of 32, and then begin July 9th is the quarterfinal. And again, Boston does have one quarterfinal match there as well. Here on Bryant's campus, like I said, completely honored to be hosting Team Ghana beginning on June 10th. All the way through June 30th. It may be a little bit sooner they may depart, depending on where they're going to after the June 27th match. But Team Ghana matches are June 17th. They're Ghana versus Panama. That first match is in Toronto. June 23rd, Ghana versus England. That's in Boston. That's a big one for us. And then June 27th is Ghana versus Croatia in Philadelphia. And then, of course, depending on where Ghana is at that point in time, they will be departing our campus and hopefully moving on to another round at another site. FIFA does require that Team Ghana have at least one community day. They require that of all teams that go to a team base camp. So we can expect that as a minimum. Liz and I, we've already had conversations with representatives from Ghana, trying to push that needle a little bit on that as much as we can. So we're hoping for 2 community days and definitely one Ghana celebration day in Providence sometime during that time period where they're here. We're going to find out more about that when we, of course, visit Ghana and speak with their team delegation over there. It's funny, you hear big numbers from the delegates and people that are not affiliated with the team, and then you sit down with the team and they're like, we're not doing 2 community events, we're only doing 1 or whatever. But we're going to try to push the needle as much as possible and hopefully have some success, because, of course, the more community days and things that we do, the more business that we'll be bringing in here to Rhode Island. A very important note here. Not only were we selected as a team base camp, we were also selected as a venue-specific site. So the exciting thing there is that once Ghana departs and they leave to go someplace else for a venue-specific site, now that opens us up, because we have one other grass soccer field, opens us up to be able to bring in another national team and all of their fans back into the state. So, so just imagine that somehow they go on and, whatever the country is, I don't want to give hypotheticals because then I can get myself in trouble, but we've had a number of countries, big countries, already come and review our facilities for that possibility in case all of a sudden they find themselves playing at Gillette. They thought very highly of our facilities and really liked it. So we have a second opportunity, again, for another boom to bring in a whole bunch of other fans to our hotels, restaurants, and for all of our businesses as a venue-specific site for that knockout round. So all great stuff. We are incredibly excited. And again, you can find me very easily in the staff directory. Bill Smith, I'm right at the top for the athletic department. If there's any way that we can partner with you, we can help you and help advance this thing, we are more than happy to do so and would love to work with you. But thank you again, everybody, for coming today. Again, so looking forward to working with all of you. And again, we are so incredibly excited and proud to be just a big part of what's going on here with this summer's World Cup. So have a great day, and thank you. Go Bulldogs.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Diane Fournaris. I'm the State Director for the Rhode Island Small Business Development Center at the University of Rhode Island. I'm thrilled to be able to welcome all of you to our Summer of Soccer 2026 Business Readiness Summit here at Bryant University. But before I forget and move on a little bit, you'll probably see on the screens there's a QR code with slido.com. That is where you can enter questions, because if we're going to try to get you as much information today as we can, but if we're not able to have all the answers, we'll have your questions and be able to get back to you. So thank you. You can just scan that code. As you may or may not know, the Small Business Development Center is part of a national network of 63 SBDCs that are funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration. We have operated in the state of Rhode Island for over 40 years. And during that time, I've helped approximately 25,000 business owners and potential owners to start and expand their operations. The SBDC provides no-cost, expert, confidential, one-to-one business advising services and training programs, such as this, to any small business owner or potential owner at any stage of the business cycle. In 2025 alone, we worked with over 800 individual business owners and potential owners, helped them to raise over $10 million for growth and expansion, and assisted them in creating many new jobs. One of the things that we pride ourselves on at the SBDC is staying ahead of the curve on issues and opportunities that may affect the small business environment in our state and region. One of these is the upcoming World Cup games that we played at Gillette Stadium, or Boston Stadium, also known as, in nearby Foxborough, Massachusetts, which are expected to bring an influx of international visitors to our area. So we started asking ourselves on our team how our small business owners could prepare for this, because it's going to be a big event, how they could take advantage of the opportunity, and what we could do to help. So the SBDC team, together with our colleagues at the Chafee Center for International Business here at Bryant, decided to bring together two fantastic expert panels for an in-person summit, which are here today. We hope this event will enable you to learn more about the World Cup games, their expected impact on the region, ask questions, and plan for what could be an unprecedented business opportunity. We expect that this will be the beginning of an ongoing dialogue which will include future events and training opportunities as we get closer to the games. While we may not have all the answers to every question today, we will continue to bring you additional resources and information in the weeks ahead. Leading our first panel today will be Liz Tanner, who you've heard about. She's the Executive Director of Ocean State 26, which is Rhode Island's nonprofit that was created to capitalize on the economic development opportunities for the World Cup. Liz, who was an attorney, served as the Rhode Island Secretary of Commerce from June of 2022 through July of 2025. She was previously appointed the Director of the Rhode Island Department of Business Regulation in November of 2017. Liz began her governmental career in 2015 with the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation, where she worked closely with small businesses. She is known for listening to and working with businesses to resolve their concerns and meet their needs. A graduate of the University of Rhode Island and Western New England University Law School, Liz has also received training from Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government. I've known Liz for a number of years, and she truly is a champion for small business in our state. So I'd like to welcome Liz to come up to the panel.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see you. It's the allergy season, hence the water, just in case I need it. The last time I stood here, there was another speaker speaking, and she had, I don't know, a 4-page speech, and the back page of the speech fell and went underneath this thing, and so I will not be doing that because I saw her freeze when that last page came, and her speech was missing. So I know how this place works. I got my speech right here. So first, I just want to say thank you so much to Diane, to Manuel, to Chelsea, to the SBDC team. You know, they've been an incredible organization that I've been working with for, you know, most of my career, 20-plus years. If you are a business owner and you are not affiliated with them, you should be, because they are there for you to offer services to help your business grow. I could talk about them for an hour. I also want to thank Bryant, thank Bill Smith. I saw Jason Kelly, Eddie Tibaldi, and the team at Bryant. They have been incredible partners on all things that we are doing. So a lot of the stats have already been given, but I wanted to at least kind of fill in some of the blanks. This is going to be the largest event to ever come to North America, nonetheless New England, nonetheless little old Rhode Island. And we're not kidding. This is the biggest event ever, right? And so we know that, you know, even if the numbers are not what the numbers are supposed to be, that it's going to be huge. That first game on June 13th also happens to be Taylor Swift's wedding. I don't think that's public, but that's my inside scoop that I'm sharing with you. So you're looking at a particularly busy day. That's also the only weekend match. So June 13th, you know, you're looking at bookending very high volumes of people in the state. Oh my gosh, hi. Didn't even get to say hi to you. So, we're also really excited about the fact that we're in this quadrant of Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, Boston, as they're calling it, and Toronto, which means you've got people who are really going to be coming up and down 95 north and south, trying to see the matches and going to that region, because there's really a lot of games being played in a small amount of space. We think the international folks are coming in by plane. They're going to be staying in Boston, taking public transportation, but we think a lot of the Americans are really spending a lot of time going up and down 95, taking Amtrak to be able to attend a lot of games. So will we still have international guests? For sure, but I do think we'll have a significant number of Americans making their way up and down the highway. So you've heard the numbers. They're expecting 2.2 million people to come to the region. They're estimating potentially up to 1 million people coming to Rhode Island. That would double our population. Think about that. Double our population for a 30, 40-day period over the summer. That's pretty incredible. And so people have said to me, do you think those numbers are correct? Well, even if it's half, that's still absolutely incredible, okay? So think of it that way. Bill said it, but $331 million is what's expected to be spent in Rhode Island, $1 billion overall in New England. And these are not visitors who are just coming in for a day or two. They're coming in for a week, 2 weeks. They're staying here for a period of time because they want to kind of have a home base and then make their way up and down to go see a variety of games in those other locations. We are really proud to have Bryant be the only New England base camp. That is something we should all be very proud of here in Rhode Island. When we were going through this process, it was, there was quite a few feet of snow on the ground, and we were talking about, no, it will be nice eventually, we promise. The snow does go away, the sun will come out, the grass does turn green. And so, having the Ghana Black Stars be able to come to Rhode Island is huge. I was joking, I've talked to more people from Ghana in the last 24 hours than I think I have ever thought I would, probably in my entire life. They are a hardy crew, very excited to do a series of events. If you are interested in specifically talking about that, please reach out to me. Everything's really just sort of up in the air now. It's only been, a little over a week since we made that announcement. But we are looking at doing a variety of events, potentially with a variety of cities, with the state, with Bryant, potentially with the business community. There's lots of things in action. And I am honored and excited to take the trip to Ghana to be able to meet with potential business sponsors as well as representatives from government to talk about ways we can increase tourism between our locations. And with the Ghana community, there's potential to add probably another 100,000 more of Ghanaians coming through our state specific to that. So what did we create? So we created this nonprofit that's separate from any other entity to be able to do a variety of things. So what do I spend my days doing? Talking about transportation, I talk international relations, we talk about security dollars, but we're also raising dollars to have events. So if anybody's interested in sponsorship, please also reach out to me. But our hope is to have several municipal events across the state. The City of Providence has applied for an official FIFA fan zone license. That has not been approved. We do expect it to be approved, but that would be in the field between the mall and the Amtrak station, train station. So they would be looking at having a large-scale FIFA fan zone festival there. You're also looking at seeing events of varying size in communities like Pawtucket, Central Falls, Coventry, Warwick, East Providence, and Woonsocket. Some of those are existing festivals that they're building upon. Some of them are brand new watch parties and festivals that those communities would like to have. And what we're doing is trying to raise dollars for those events to happen. So what does this kind of all mean for you? It's funny, I see Heather from Rhode Island Hospitality here. I spoke at one of their events, and what I ended it with saying, it's going to be one hell of a summer, is really what I said. So, it's not just World Cup that's coming, it's also our 250th America celebration. So there's events happening across the entire state for that. You've got the T Swift big wedding, and then of course the tall ships are coming to Boston the day after the tournament is over. So you're talking about really a massive influx of visitors, of events that are happening, of things that are going on. Now I'm going to kind of get into some of the kind of nitty-gritty details to talk about who's doing what and ways that you can be involved. If you have not been to the Boston 26 website, I encourage you to do so. They have on there a section for business opportunities, and there you can basically put in your email address and be made aware when there are business opportunities. So when they put out like a request for proposals for food, or for somebody to mow the lawn, or somebody to take out the trash, like those kinds of services that they're looking for, you'll get those emails, and if that's what you do, then you can apply for that through the Boston 26 folks. One of the things I'll explain, because it's hard to understand, there's the Boston 26 group, and they are connected directly with FIFA. So essentially, Boston 26 was chosen by FIFA to host the tournament and the matches up at Foxborough. Versus in Rhode Island, we are a totally separate nonprofit, and we are not directly affiliated with FIFA, although we talk to them and work with them all the time. But we're a separate entity. one of the things that we like to talk about is how close we are to the stadium. The Boston folks do not like it when we say how close we are to the stadium, but that's something that we really push, because we know that 40% of all Patriots away game ticket holders stay in Rhode Island, right? And so we know, whether we want to or not, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be staying in our state. So, first, that's that website, and you can get that information from them. We're also looking to, host besides those municipal festivals is a variety of youth soccer tournaments. And I want to acknowledge Jonathan Walker and Mary Kay Talbot from the Rhode Island Sports Commission. They have been incredible partners to be able to not just work with the youth tournaments, but also all of the marketing efforts. Mary Kay is an incredibly creative person, thank God, because I'm not. I'm an attorney. Attorneys are not creative generally. So I'm very happy to have Mary Kay in my life for all the creative things. One of the things that we're going to talk about later, but if you don't get the answers you're looking for, is about watch party licenses. And so the Rhode Island Sports Commission has put out essentially a summarized page of information for you. And so if you don't get that information, we will make sure that it gets to you, because any watch party would have to be approved by FIFA. I also want to talk about some funding that we received from the state. We received $250,000 to go to 3 partners. One is to go to Ocean State 26. That's going to be focused very much on the administrative expenses as well as the marketing that needs to be done across the state. But we also have the Rhode Island Hospitality Association. They are going to be doing a training that is going to be for the entire hospitality industry that's going to talk about a wide variety of things, but in particular things that they're very passionate about, such as human trafficking, but also the tipping cultures, right? Because if you think about the tipping cultures across the country or across the globe are very, very different. And so we want to try to make sure that our servers are taken care of still here in Rhode Island. And so we're trying to get some information out about that. But Heather Singleton is here from the Rhode Island Hospitality Association if you have any questions about that. We've also partnered with United Way, and I didn't see anybody from United Way if somebody's here. But the United Way, they receive dollars. They're going to be doing a volunteer effort so that you can have volunteers at the events that we talked about, but also at the transportation centers like the airport, the train station, things like that. We are working on trying to get a transportation hub where buses would take ticket holders from Providence up to the stadium. We are waiting for any kind of approval from that from the Boston 26 folks, but we have not received that at this time. Under the assumption that that does move forward, we will make sure we get that information to you as well. When you think about who's going to be particularly busy during this season, think about when you go on vacation. What do? You eat, you drink, and you be merry, right? And so you go to cultural things, you take touristy things. So if you're in that space, it should be a particularly busy year for you, and you really want to get sort of the word out about who you are. When you think about promoting yourself in America, great, but I also want to encourage you to focus on the countries that we know are going to be spending a lot of time here, and that's Norway, France, England, Scotland, Morocco, Ghana, and Haiti. And so if, direct marketing there is going to be really important. I see Mark Broder here from Rhode Island Commerce. He's done a great job of trying to encourage tourism from those countries to come to Rhode Island because we know that they're playing games here, and we really want them to spend their time in Rhode Island. We want them to love Rhode Island as much as we do. I also want you to think about cultural awareness and think about what that means for your business. If you've got forward-facing employees, think about letting them know there's going to be just a lot of different people here than we usually normally see that speak a lot of different languages. When I look at those countries, there's really only one language that stands out significantly, and that's French. So if you're in the kind of business, like for example, I was working with the bankers, and we've encouraged them to have French in the ATMs for the summer, things like that. So think about what the language of people who speak French might be to you. I also want you to think about what that means from a commute standpoint. So when you look at each of those matches, the mornings should be fine for you, but the afternoons and evenings could be very difficult from a commuting standpoint or from people kind of coming in and out, depending, of course, where your business is located. So you might want to really lay out what that looks like. The matches are at different hours. They're mostly on weekdays. And so, take a look at what that means for you and how that's going to affect who you are and what you do. And then we also have time later on from Airbnb. There's been a lot of people asking me about what does it mean to become an Airbnb. And so there's some, Britta McBride is here from Airbnb. She'll be talking about that. And then essentially, stocking up, because there's going to be quite a few people here looking to do what they can spend dollars in Rhode Island. And then the last thing I've been asked to talk about, and then I'll close it up, is to talk about branding. A a lot of people have asked us questions about that. So starting April 15th, because we're not 100% prepared for these questions, but starting April 15th, if you want to go to RhodeIslandSummerOfSoccer.com and look at the Rhode Island regions, you would click into there, and then figure out what region you are. And the regions are not necessarily obvious to you, but the regions are Newport, Block Island, South County, Providence/Warwick, and Blackstone Valley. And go to that region and figure out what tourism council region you're a part of, because anytime you need branding from us, we would ask that you go through your tourism council. Now, it's not super clear for all of the communities, and so if you're not sure what it is, just send an email through the RhodeIslandSummerOfSoccer.com email address, and we'll help you with that. But for example, East Providence is in the Blackstone Valley region, and Barrington's in the Newport region, right? So it's not super obvious where you should be. But when you want to get branding, contact your local tourism region to get the branding guidelines, and then you'll need some permissions. So things that are going to be no charge that you can use, you know, the logos for, whatever you want to do, are what Mary Kay taught me is called posters, coasters, table tents, window clings, banners, you know, basic sort of advertising things like that. We're going to allow you to use the Rhode Island Summer of Soccer Ocean State 2026 logos if you want them. We're just looking to make sure that we know who's actually using them. If you want to create your own merchandise, we would ask that you come through Rhode Island Summer of Soccer so that we can just approve whatever merchandise you want to create, as well as following the branding guidelines. And if you want to sell products with the Rhode Island Summer of Soccer, the Ocean State 2026 logo on it, we would want to have a relationship with you to make that happen. We would be expecting at least some sort of percentage of any profits that you are able to receive before August 1st. Because there's of the cost associated with making that happen. And so we would ask you to work directly with us on that. And then all of that information will be on the website by April 15th on RhodeIslandSummerOfSoccer.com. So I threw a lot at you. Chelsea, do I have time for one or two questions? Okay. Do we have any questions about what I shared? Nina? Oh, not without my glasses, that's for sure. I don't. They're very secretive about that information, but they do put out emails every time they are looking for something. I have heard of other businesses who have applied for that. I'm not sure if they got the contract or not, but I have seen where that happens. Bank of America has really pushed hard to make sure that Boston 26 hires as many small local businesses as they possibly can. So know that they're your partner in this. So particularly if you have a Bank of America account, they have advocated heavily to make sure that local, not just Massachusetts, but Rhode Island, the rest of New England as well, that small businesses get opportunities. So I know that they really are making an effort to make sure that that happens. And I'm trying to read these.
Perspective. This is really our first initial kickoff event to get the general awareness out to you and also see what the needs are, what your questions are, and then we will be doing some follow-up things on resource list, information, make sure we get things out to you. Please become a client of the Small Business Development Center. That's the easiest way to, work with us and work with our business advisors, as well as we do have very good relationships with the Massachusetts SBDC. So this is really the first step in a very collaborative effort, and also to get as much information out to the business community as possible.
Any other questions? So if you can't think of your question, I'm going to be here for a little while. If not, you can feel free to send those emails, but jump on the Rhode Island RISummerofsoccer.com. Should have any answers that we have available now, and it will have more and more information as we get closer to the tournament. But again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and it is going to be one hell of a summer. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liz. We greatly appreciate your presence and the crucial information that you shared with us. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chafee Brehm. I'm the Regional Director in Northern Rhode Island for the Small Business Development Center based here at Bryant University. Thank you all for coming. This is a really truly tremendous event that we've pulled off together as a team effort. We will be bringing up some panelists now, but I just wanted to let you all know that this is very important for us to spearhead this event to really, help support, advise the business community in Rhode Island as well as for the region. Just a fun fact about me, I actually lived in South Africa watching for the World Cup prepare there, as well as I attended the World Cup in Brazil in 2014, so I do have a unique direct experience as what a tremendous opportunity this is, but how much preparedness is important to mitigate any challenges or risks. So we do have a wonderful panelist. If the panelists may please come up, take a seat, and then we'll introduce them and carry on with the next segment. Unfortunately, there was an international marketing professor that was supposed to be with us today, and he must have had an urgency that came up. But. All right, well, welcome everyone, and tremendously thank you. A big sense of gratitude for your willingness to be here, for your all the wonderful insights and resources that you will share with us, and please definitely be thinking of more questions for this esteemed panel. Rob Piechota, the District Director of the Rhode Island District Office of the Small Business Administration, a U.S. Army veteran and West Point graduate. Rob has over 25 years of experience in business, working both in small businesses as an entrepreneur, operating his small business in Connecticut, as well as big business working with a Fortune 100 company. Additionally, he brings almost a decade of experience as a leader of the Small Business Development Center Network, having been the director at the Brooklyn SBDC, at the NYC College of Technology, leading the Rhode Island District Office team of 7 employees. Rob is focused on bringing his wealth of knowledge and experience to the state's small business community. He helps to ensure that more than 1,000 small businesses in the state are aware of and have access to a vast array of programs and services the SBA has at its disposable and help them start and grow. Thank you very much, Rob, for being here. Heather Singleton is the Chief Operating Officer at the Rhode Island Hospitality Association and the Rhode Island Hospitality Education Foundation, where she leads initiatives that strengthen the state's hospitality workforce and industry partnerships. With more than 25 years of experience in hospitality and association leadership, she is dedicated to advancing education, professional development, and career pathways in the industry. Heather holds an MBA in International Business and earned the IMO designation from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Institute of Organization Management. She serves on several national and state boards and is the passionate advocate for developing the next generation of hospitality professionals. Thank you so much, Heather. You're very crucial to this conversation, so thank you for being here. Pam Thornton, Director of Strategic HR Services, the Employer Association of Northeast. Pam Thornton is a dynamic HR leader, speaker, and strategist with over 30 years of experience spanning private industry and the nonprofit sector. Her early career included leadership roles at the nationally recognized companies like Lego Systems, K2 Sports, where she managed HR operations for teams of over 200 employees nationwide, driving initiatives in performance management, employee engagement, organizational development, and since 2014, she has been a cornerstone of the Employers Association of the Northeast, holding various roles on the HR team. Pam serves on the leadership team and plays a key role in shaping the organization's strategic direction. She leads EANE's HR team, mentors staff, and partners closely with member organizations to deliver customized HR solutions that support their success. Pam holds a bachelor's degree in business with a concentration in strategic human resources from Bay Path University. She is a SHRM certified professional and a professional in HR human resources, and a certified trainer with the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. Pam is also an executive board member of the Director of Membership of RISBDC, HRM, and a past president of the Human Resources Management Association of Western New England. Thank you very much, Pam, for being with us today. Britta McBride is the public policy manager in New England for global peer-to-peer travel platform Airbnb. As such, Britta manages public policy advocacy efforts and governmental affairs in 6 New England states. Prior to joining Airbnb last year, Britta held several roles in Massachusetts government, most recently helping the lead Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulations as part of the state's Executive Office of Economic Development. She is also a member of the Board of Directors of Northeast ARC. Britta lives with her husband and 2 children on the North Shore of Massachusetts. Thank you, Britta. Carl Duguerre, relationship management with Citizens Bank, brings over 17 years of banking, lending, relationship management, and leadership experience to Citizens Bank. Carl has had multiple roles as a branch manager, sales and strategy support, and retail leadership. He is now in business banking leadership, leading a team of over 10 commercial bankers on onboarding new businesses, providing tailored solutions that meet and exceed customers' expectations in lending, cash management, and payment processing. Carl enjoys supporting his local community by volunteering his time coaching and leading flag football and basketball in Sharon, Massachusetts. Carl also sits on 2 boards of the Summit of Education and E for All. Thank you very much, and we thought that it was crucial to put together this high-level panel of experts across multiple industries to really truly give you a holistic view on general awareness, as well as some challenges and opportunities that might come up specifically from a business lens on World Cup preparedness. So I'll let you kick it off, Rob. Each speaker will give their overview, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yes, good morning, all, and thanks for the opportunity here to present to you all. You truly are in good company. The fact that there's so many of you here is testimony to the fact that you all get it. You know, back in 1961, there was a famous American sports coach who had just lost a major big game the year prior, and it was the Green Bay Packers, and Coach Lombardi was addressing his team of 38 men in the room. And they were expecting him to come off with some amazing insight into, all right, what kind of cool things and trick plays can we introduce this coming year so we can win the Super Bowl? Well, it wasn't a Super Bowl back then, it was a championship. And so he stood up to the podium, had the chalkboard behind him, and I wish I had my props, but he held up a football. And he said, "Men, this is a football." That was his big speech for preparation for the next year. And what he was getting across was, it's basics, man. It's just basic blocking, tackling, keep it simple, but do it really, really well. And the fact that you all are here, you're basic testimony to the fact that you are good at what you do in business, but you recognize what else can I do maybe better to anticipate the meteoric rise in opportunity. If you look at TV viewing as a measure of market and you've heard the numbers before, and they're amazing. But last year, the Super Bowl got around, let's just say 2 billion viewers across the country. The World Cup is anticipated to eclipse that by tenfold. If you believe TV viewership is a measure of market, the market in front of us all is phenomenal. And even if you want to just capture a little bit of it, in small business and any business, what it's all about is getting customer share. The opportunities in front of you. Going back to the coach, Coach Lombardi's not here with us today, and I'm no Coach Lombardi, but you have coaches around the room and across the community. SBA offers you coaching, advice, technical expertise that maybe you might want to take advantage of in preparation for this amazing event, whether it be helping tweak your business, inventory control, staffing needs, website design and auditing. Look around, Small Business Development Center, SCORE, you have REBA, you have Skills for Rhode Island's Future. There's so many community resources you just may want to just look at and just get some advice now before the rubber meets the road. I'm thrilled to be here. If I had my props with me, I'd be holding up a soccer ball and saying, folks, this is a football. The future's yours. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rob. If I may just ask one quick question of you. What are the few things that businesses should do now, this week, versus, we have less than 100 days, but in the time leading up, what are some crucial, urgent things that businesses could start to do now from your perspective?
Folks, I would definitely be contacting every single, I mentioned coaching in the community. Make a phone call to whatever organization you feel comfortable with. Make an appointment now. Just tell them what's going on, tell them what you're getting ready for, and ask for an assessment. What am I missing? That's what it's all about. That plus I'd be contacting my distributors and vendors, finding out what is available for free. Swag, stuff, communication tips. There are folks coming to our community that don't speak your language fluently. You want to reach them too. Is your business prepared to handle different cultures, different languages? You want to be just know what you don't know so you can prepare for it in the time available.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Heather Singleton with the Rhode Island Hospitality Association. I'm looking back at this screen back here. I know Liz said she didn't have her glasses, and I'm like, oh, Dr. Bovin would be so upset with me right now. The Rhode Island Hospitality Association is a statewide trade group that represents the food service, lodging, and tourism sectors within Rhode Island. We call ourselves a super sector because we don't fit under one particular NAICS code. We, in the early 90s, formed an education foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit, specifically for the purpose of educating our workforce within Rhode Island's hospitality industry, and also encouraging high school students to consider our industry as a career. We still do that work 30 years, just over 30 years later. And we are very laser focused. We're staying in our lane on this one and focusing on workforce development and education as we prepare for this, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. I am excited, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm thrilled, I'm going through all of it. I don't know what the heck is gonna happen with this, but I do know that we're all in it together. So when I say stay in our lane, meaning we are going to be focused on educating the workforce. So we've got 4 different programs that we are really looking at. The first one is de-escalation training. It's a national certification, actually. And so that program is available right now. I do want to thank the Commerce Corporation and Real Jobs Rhode Island through the Department of Labor and Training. They have provided us some grant funding so that we can offer the majority of this training completely free for business owners and their employees. So we're kicking it off with de-escalation training. We are then going to move into human trafficking awareness training. followed up with a program called Guest Service Gold, again, a national certification through the American Hotel and Lodging Association. It's a high-level customer service program. And then we actually have formed a partnership with Bryant University, and there is a team of students and professors who are developing a cultural literacy toolkit and resource guide that's focused on the 7 countries and their backgrounds who are coming into play at, I'm still going to call it Gillette Stadium. I can't do the Boston Stadium thing. At least here with our core little group. I was actually looking, my file that I made says World Cup 2026, and I'm like, oh, I hope nobody from FIFA sees that, because I know you're not supposed to use, certain language there. But so I'm here to talk about the education and training programs that we'll be offering. I'm sure there'll be questions that come up, so I'm happy to answer those as they come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather. Can you just speak to briefly, is this open for everyone? Is it, members only? Do you have to be a member of the Hospitality Association, or is this, everyone can get this information?
Yeah, it's a great question. So although we do have a membership organization through the Hospitality Association, we do represent the entire industry, regardless of someone or a company being a member or not. So as long as you're in the industry, you do not have to be a member to take advantage of this training. I think it's going to have to be a first come, first serve, because we only have so many free codes to go around. If anyone wants to pay for the training for their employees, we're happy to take your money and get you registered and signed up for that. But we, yes, it is open. And we're also thinking bus drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, we're thinking of the entire hospitality industry. Retailers can take advantage of this as well. I mean, the hospitality is everywhere. It's like, that's why I love this industry. It's like in the fabric of everything that we do within the economy. So yes, it's open, but first come, first serve.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That actually is a great clarification, that you don't have to be an on-premise location to partake in these services, that it really truly is all service-based businesses. If you're going to be serving, hosting, welcoming any form of international guests, that businesses can participate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say that the training and the curriculum was designed and developed by the industry.
Okay.
So there's going to be a focus on it, like the de-escalation and the human trafficking. It's the contextualized learning behind it is based on being in a hotel or restaurant or a tourism attraction entertainment venue. So that's, it's focused specifically on the industry. But if there's a small business owner out there that's like, I've got a small little retail shop and I've got a couple of employees and I want them to be educated, then absolutely. I mean, I'd rather have the education than go into the details of, well, are they technically a hospitality business or not?
Okay.
No, we just want to make sure everybody is comfortable with the education.
Okay. And then are there any upcoming dates, either event dates, training dates? Are there any upcoming dates that people should be aware of that you'd like to promote while you're here?
Thank you, yes. So we've actually launched the online version of the de-escalation training is currently open and available. It's on through our website, which is rihospitality.org. If you click on the events link, you'll see a title there called De-escalation Training. Right now, that is the online version. So the way it works is we have coupon codes or vouchers, online codes. So you would register your employees. Because it is grant funded, we do need to collect some information, such as like your employee ID and their name and some other demographic information. And once we have that, Tracy on our team, she's our director of the Education Foundation, she would then email out the voucher code for folks or your employees to go ahead and enter that. And the training is available also through a mobile device. So they make it pretty easy. to go through. So we're starting with de-escalation, followed by human trafficking, guest service gold, and then the cultural literacy piece.
Okay. Wonderful, thank you so much. And our role as SBDC team, we will do our absolute best to continue to work in very close partnership with you to get information out to the community and our clients. So if you didn't quite get the URL website right now, definitely be looking to follow up with SBDC counselors, and we will, all hands on deck work together to get this information out to everyone. Thank you. And welcome, Pam.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Pam Thornton, and I'm with the Employers Association of the Northeast. We are a regional organization that supports employers with HR infrastructure, support, and learning and development. So we support over 1,000 organizations in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut to help them do that. Small to mid-sized businesses of all shapes and sizes. We are over 100 years old, if you can believe that. But we're meeting you where you're at. Things are changing. I think it's fair to say. Heather said this is a little unnerving, right? I don't know that anybody's really prepared for this, right? But that is where the plan comes in. So we've got to plan this out, and we've got to work the plan. So 2 words, and they are workforce readiness. Okay. When something like this happens, like a major event, certainly a global event, we can all expect that there is going to be a demand for services, products. I mean, we've heard that's what's going to happen, right? But at the same time, that might also expose us to issues that we have within our workforce currently. So I pose a question to you, and it'll be interesting to see what you think of this. But if consumer demand in our organization, or whether we're selling a service or a product, was going to double tomorrow for the next 2 weeks, would our organization be able to support it? That's really where you need to start thinking, right? So there's 3 key points that I want to make sure that we cover today, and I think, really thinking about the staffing reality of where we are. We're going to be in the summer where we're already crunched for talent and people. When do we start hiring? Well, I think we need to start that now, right? I think the sooner the better. We can't assume that our existing teams can support what's going to actually happen here. So we need to start thinking about how we're going to do that. Who are our partners? Have we identified who these people are? Are we going to work with each other? Can we trade staff? We need to start thinking about this really creatively and forming those partnerships, identifying who they are, and working with the local schools, working with the colleges, working with seasonal labor pools. Don't wait, because the people that wait are not going to have options, right? Training, we've talked a lot about some of the training that's going to happen. Liz talked about it, Heather talked about it. There will be language barriers, so simple training. I'm not saying everybody has to be fluent, right, in all these different languages, but we need to be specific in our businesses, the pleases, the thank you, the things that are really going to be important. Make sure we understand that. Make sure we understand if we're going to be, importing talent that's not from here, what are the pay differences? Like, what are we going to be paying people? Certainly the tipping culture is going to be important. Customer service expectations. What do the other cultures expect? What do those cultural norms look like? So educating ourselves on what that looks like and making sense of that and getting prepared. Again, simple training. There's a lot of things that we need to do. Operational readiness. So things like scheduling, overtime planning, cross-training employees. No longer can we think about people being in a single lane. We have to cross-train people. What if we have someone, that's going out on a leave that we haven't anticipated? Anybody have that happen? That's a reality. So we need to really be thinking about who else could step into that role. The way that you do this is with a plan. So having some kind of checklist. You're going to leave today with a bunch of information, pages and pages and pages. Who's going to help you get workforce ready, prepared? Who's going to do that for you? Identify who those people are If you need help, please let me know. I'm happy to help you. Our organization's happy to help you. And I think everybody in this room and on this panel is here to help you. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. If I may just ask you a quick two-part question. One, where are we going to get all these additional, workers and staff from? And then number two, how do you even begin to, in an appropriate legal way, even advertise? Is it part-time? Is it seasonal? Is it contract? Given that this is a special event happening over a specific period of time, and there is going to be demand fluctuation. It's not going to be 100% busy for set amount of time. We're going to see things go up and down in waves as the games are played, the teams come and go. So number one, where are we going to get these people from? And then two, how do you even start to properly legally advertise and start the hiring process?
Yeah, you're bringing up great points, and these aren't challenges, they're opportunities. People are looking for work, right? They may not be here. We may have to ship them in. We may need to partner with other states, other organizations. That's what I'm saying. Let's start to think about where they're going to come from, because if they're not coming from here, they're going to have to come from somewhere else, right? So really looking at where we're going to do that. And there are lots of agencies. There's lots of workforce planning partners and programs out there. Start making those lists, start working with someone who has some experience in this field to help you understand how to go about that. As far as advertising, you want to be transparent. Tell people what you're going to pay them. Tell them it's going to be tumultuous. Tell them they're going to be working potentially in areas where it might be, there might be flexibility needed. Some people like flexibility, right? I'm seeing some smiling faces out there. We know what that's like. So be able to tell them what they can certainly expect.
Thank you so much.
And as far as being, the legal piece, I'm not sure that, there's a lot of legal concerns that I have initially around any of it, other than, when it comes to pay equity, recruiting, onboarding, being transparent about what it is that you're offering and how you're going to go about it. People make things up if you don't tell them what to expect, right? So let's get them excited about this. Let's be as excited as we are and put that out to our communities and our opportunities to hire people. I think that's the place we need to start.
Okay, wonderful. And then obviously you said make a plan, be prepared. But again, there's only so much you can plan for when this is a great unknown. And like we've all said, we don't know what we don't know. We've never experienced this before. Is there anything you can speak to in terms of a little bit of crisis management? Again, overtime hours, people are working extended long trading hours. If people are exhausted or they call out sick or, have a family emergency or can't get to work because of the traffic. Is there anything that you can maybe just speak to, tips, advice, strategy for, crisis management and anticipating what might occur?
That's the word.
That's the
Anticipate.
Okay.
So in order for us to anticipate the unknown, we're going to have to overplan. We're going to have to overhire. We're going to have to overtrain. We're going to have to really accommodate a schedule that we're not truly aware of how much help we're going to need. So it's a spike. It's an opportunity for us to bring more people in than we need to, maybe. Maybe we create a pipeline that there's a backup. There's people on call. And reward them for that, right? Make them part of your culture, make them part of your organization, reward them with pay. We have to have that kind of planning preparedness to be prepared for this. And we still may get surprises around it, but you're gonna have to overplan.
Are you and your, the EANE, are you available for people to reach out?
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
consult with you or ask questions?
Absolutely. I have
Okay.
information on the table that I left for you around that, and we're a great partner as well. So you could reach us through the Business Development Center for sure.
Thank you so much, Pam. And Britta, welcome. Very important to have Airbnb be a part of the conversation, so welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you hosting this today. I think, listening to Bill Smith and to Liz and my fellow panelists, we are looking at a global event, right? And it's going to be an incredible global event that's going to bring a lot of people here to Rhode Island, to Northern Rhode Island in particular, to this region, that is going to present a ton of opportunity. And I think I'm going to talk today about some numbers that we worked with Deloitte to develop, but I will put this asterisk on that was before the Ghana base camp was announced. Oh. That was before, we kind of started to see, I think, what we anticipate to be even a more significant participation from a larger audience here in Northern Rhode Island. So, it's going to be an incredible summer. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Airbnb, we're a peer-to-peer platform. We enable people to list their home, right? You can rent out your home and put that money directly into your pocket. We also include on our platform, we actually include hotels as well, and inns and bed and breakfast rooms. But it's a way for people to be able to directly benefit from events like this. Our founders like to say that large events and hospitality are in our company's DNA. The company was started when a very large graphic design conference was going to be in San Francisco. Our founders were two designers living in San Fran trying to make their rent. All of the rooms in San Francisco were booked. They decided that, they would, let's see if we can maybe host some people, maybe try to make a little bit of extra money, and see, if we can get people to come and stay with us. And it turns out that people wanted to. They literally threw air mattresses on the floor of their apartment. Not what would happen today or what we recommend for hosts to do today, but, and they ended up with 3 people coming and staying with them. And they turned it into not only a, come here, sleep on the floor, but come here, let us take you to our favorite taqueria. Let us take you down the street and show you, this park that we go to. Where do we go running, right? And that turned into a ethos of live like a local. And for an event like this, which is going to attract so many people from so many different places, there's a ton of opportunity for people to come to Rhode Island and Northern Rhode Island and to want to live like a local. And that's where the real benefit, particularly for small business owners, I think comes in here. So we know that the World Cup is going to be a stress test of sorts. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity, but it's also going to be a chance for municipalities around the stadium to see if we can accommodate this surge of global visitors. According to Deloitte, about 17,000 people are going to be looking specifically for Airbnb accommodations. That is outside of the other, hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be looking for hotel accommodations, are going to be looking for, other types of accommodations. And then in addition to that, you layer on what we talked about with the tall ships being here, Taylor Swift's wedding, right? I mean, all of the other things that are happening this summer. So there is going to be opportunity for individuals in the community to be able to benefit from that. And we know that if you're able to short-term rent, that it does benefit you. We're already seeing an 80% uptick in searches for Airbnbs across our platform compared to this time last year in this area. So it's there's a lot of anticipation, and people are really trying to think about, where am I going to be staying? What am I going to be doing when I'm here? And what that means is people will come, and our numbers tell us, and this is, travel, right? You spend where you stay. And so if you are in a neighborhood, or if you're in a municipality, you're in a community, you're looking for that coffee shop, you're looking for that restaurant, you're looking for that local store to go and get to. And what we see is that people spend a significant amount of their tourism spending where they stay. In the case of the World Cup, about $358 per night is going to be spent on non-accommodations in this region. So that's, everything from Boston south into Rhode Island. So if you're a guest staying in an Airbnb, the numbers tell us that about $350 per day is going to be going to something other than what you're paying for that Airbnb. Where is that going to go? It's going to the restaurant, the store, the market, entertainment, transportation. That's really exciting. If you are a service provider around Gillette Stadium, it's going to provide you a lot of opportunity. In addition to that, the great thing about what our platform offers is people can really cater to what fits them. You don't have to list your home for the entirety of the World Cup. Certainly, if people want to do that, we would encourage that. But if you are listing, it's going to put revenue directly into your pocket. And we are anticipating that the typical host could stand to make over $5,000 for the course of the World Cup. Again, that's a pretty significant amount of money in a pretty short period of time. So there are a lot of opportunities there. And then, of course, hosts that make that money, they use it to pay for their bills, right? They use it to pay for their groceries, and they put that money back into the economy. Overall, World Cup travel is projected to generate about $189 million in economic activity in this region. And that's just from the participation of the people who are on Airbnb. That's not even talking about people are going to be staying in hotels. Long story short, there's a lot of opportunity here, and there's the pie is big, and there are pieces that are available for everybody. And we're really committed as a company to making sure that this is a success for Rhode Island. It's part of the reason why we are really proud to be working with Ocean State 2026 and putting on the fan zone, putting on those smaller municipal, whether it's a youth soccer event or a smaller community event. And we're also want to make sure that people have access to resources so that if they are interested in being on Airbnb, if they want to be participating, that they can learn more about how to do that. We're actually hosting an in-person event next Wednesday on the 18th, kind of like a hosting 101 for people who are interested in Providence at the Dye House. It's at 11:30 in the morning. You can come for lunch, learn a little bit more. But all of this, kind of our view of this, is that the benefits that accrue to the people that live in Rhode Island are really going to be direct benefits to the small businesses, to the people that are living in communities around the stadium. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be a significant amount of tax revenue that's going to be driven into the state, and that is obviously, extremely beneficial. So we're excited to be part of this, and I'm happy to, answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we definitely know that the demand side is there. How is the supply side looking, and is there a lot more opportunity for Rhode Islanders to Airbnb their homes?
Yeah. We are confident that we are going to have adequate supply, but we also, part of the reason why we're doing things like hosting the in-person event next week is because we want to make sure that there is, that we're kind of making sure there are channels for people to be able to host. And again, I just want to really emphasize that you can, hosting is available however you want for it to look. If you want to do a weekend here or there, you want to do a few days, you want to do the entire term of the World Cup, and you want to escape and couch surf somewhere, or you have, you have somewhere else that you want to go, or you just want to get out of town. There are a lot of opportunities there, but we are confident that we are going to have a strong amount of supply. And then, the other piece is that some people, when they travel, right, they're staying in hotels, and that is the right venue for them. And for other people, they want to be doing something different. having just that variety of experiences for people that are coming here for the World Cup is great, and it makes it that much more attractive for people to be coming into the region, because there are, a lot of different ways that you can come and participate in the economy here and participate in the region.
Okay. Thank you. And then from a local municipality standpoint, are there any towns where to Airbnb is a little bit more challenging than others? And as local residents and homeowners, is there anything, that people can do if they're not quite sure, or if they're interested in Airbnb-ing their home?
So, there are a variety of different regulations that different towns have. Some are more restrictive, some are less restrictive. Certainly checking with your community. We always tell people that they should check with their community and, make sure their local rules and regulations, that they know what they are. But, we are also working with a lot of communities in Northern Rhode Island to, talk to them about, look, this is good for your community if you're able to have an influx of income come into these neighborhoods and support the small businesses. So if there are ways that we can work together, we certainly want to be able to do that. But I would say that Rhode Island, by and large, is it's a very friendly state when it comes to being able to share your home. And, that provides, again, it's just, a lot of opportunity there for folks to be able to participate.
Okay. Wonderful. And then just one more question. One of the wonderful things about Airbnb, and is so important, is the guest experience to a certain standpoint. I think that's a big part of the brand, as well as the customer expectation. If you were going to Airbnb, that there's a certain experience that goes with it. How would you speak to, and again, we can't necessarily anticipate or plan for anything, but given the huge, diverse, extreme multiculturalism and cross-cultural experience, is there anything that we can possibly, expand our mindset or consider for, being an Airbnb host, considering the guest experience across such a broad, diverse guests?
Yeah, it's challenging, right? You're not going to necessarily be prepared for every single iteration of every single circumstance. The people who come onto our platform really like just the experience of being able to host and share their homes. But part of the reason why we're doing the in-person event next week is to, have some of those conversations too. We want for our hosts to, again, it goes back to living like a local, to really showcase what they love about their communities. And so we encourage people, if they're hosting, to make available all of the recommendations. Where are the places that you would go to? What are the businesses that you would want to go to and that you would want to make sure your guests know about? And I think that we really do lean on hosts to sort of have those relationships and to say, I know this person is going to take very good care of you. I know they take good care of me, so I want to send you there. But, working with Ocean State 2026, working, with folks across our company to make sure that people have access to resources if you are going to be hosting is really important, and we do that as well. We push out a lot of educational resources, and that will certainly be the case here too.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. And welcome, Carl, from Citizens Bank. We look forward to hearing your perspective on the banking side.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Once again, thank you, Chelsea and SBDC, for being here today. As I think about today, I think the one word that really sticks out is proactive. I think many of you are being proactive, and SBDC is being proactive to ensure your business readiness, right? The different tools and solutions that may be available to you. And I think about that same word when I think about banking, right? What is the financial readiness that's there? How to ensure that you're equipped for success. And if there's three things I would probably highlight or underscore is, I would say, one is meeting with your banker, having that conversation, reviewing your current state, reviewing your current business to ensure that you're having that dialogue and that conversation. What tools may be available? What should I be thinking about? What should I be exploring? How can I be ready? But also, how can I navigate I think what we've all discussed is going to be one of the, a really large opportunity where that's going to create different stress point that's going to be there that you want to be ready for. And I guess outside of that, number two is I would be thinking about working capital. What does that look like? Because we know that payroll does not wait for revenue, right? So you want to ensure that that is something that's being thought about, right? Will I have the staff to accommodate the demand that's going to be there? Will I have the inventory to be able to accommodate the level of traffic that I'm anticipating? So what does working capital look like? How can I access that? What does that look like? These are conversations certainly you should be having now, in not the week before, because there's processes in place for that to take place to ensure that you're ready for it. And above and beyond, right? So working capital, that could certainly lead into a lending option, but there's different ways you can stretch. You can certainly have conversation with your suppliers, whether you're renegotiating term, whether it's a net 30 you have, you may want to do a net 60 just to make sure that the revenue's there and you're prepared. And the other element I would say is that when it comes to payments, I know when I travel now, I don't think I ever, do a currency exchange. There's a lot of cards now that you're able to kind of have where there's no foreign transaction, so I'm always using cards when it's overseas. So I would imagine that might be the same behavior that a lot of the travelers may be having. So if you're not accepting cards, that's something that you want to have a conversation. What does that look like? And if you are, when's the last time we review and to ensure that it's the latest technology that's going to be able to accept the tap to pay, and that's going to be able to process international transactions. And even deeper, I know that fraud is rampant. We're seeing it at all levels, at all parts. What does the fraud mitigation aspect happens with my payment processor? What does that look like? Am I protected, from possibly transactions that may occur? So once again, I would certainly say I encourage you to speak with your banker. And I'm not familiar with all banking processes, but I could certainly highlight with Citizens. Our philosophy is, regardless of small or large, every business has a relationship manager, meaning you have a dedicated support that's not in a branch necessarily, that is just there for you in your business to have these type of conversations, to be able to have that dialogue on what tools and solutions are available to me that's going to help me provide me the working capital, so therefore I can just be more proactive in my readiness. Or what tools are available to make sure that I'm protected from fraud? What tools are available to make sure that I need to spend time in my business? I may not have the time to run to a branch to make a deposit or anything like that. Is there different ways for me to kind of process and strategize? And I do have two of my experts here with me. I think Karen and David, that's in the back as well too. So throughout the day, if there's any questions you have and you wanted to speak with someone, certainly they're available. And when I even think about processing as well too, it's not just taking cards. Now technology's advanced. We can even help with standing up a website, because we know now that site is directly connected to payments. So once again, it just helps streamline. So you're more focused on your business, and we can help you when it comes to the finances, and we can help you when it comes to that dynamic of things. And Citizens, we're certainly a preferred lender when it comes to SBA. So it allows us to kind of work with all clients and work outside of the credit box as well too when it comes to a lending conversation. So I would certainly say prep now. Let's turn this global moment into a long-term local growth.
Thank you very much, Carl. Those are some crucial things to think about. Any tips for even how you begin to open up the conversation with your banker, relationship manager? Is there a crucial first question to even begin, or do you just say, please advise?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Certainly you can reach out to your banker, and once again, you want to have someone that's going to be equipped to share solutions with you. If say per se you're at Citizens, you have a dedicated person that you can certainly just reach out. I want to schedule a meeting. And our goal and our mission is we're doing financial health assessment on a current basis, whether it's quarterly, semi-annually. It could certainly be, I want to do a financial health assessment. The World Cup's coming. I want to have a meeting to talk about what solutions are in place that's going to help and support my business that way that we're ready for it.
Okay, thank you. Well, we have lots of wonderful banking partners, but just while you're here, are there any specific programs for small businesses from citizens that we should just have general awareness about while you're here?
Absolutely. I do feel that our payment processing is certainly world-class, for sure. So if it's something that, whether you're not accepting cards, that's certainly something that we can help and support and facilitate with. Or if you want to find out, like, wow, I don't have a website. I know that folks are going to be looking for me, visiting, and this might be different ways for me to capture. We've streamlined that, so certainly that's something that you can capitalize on. And we've also now have enhanced, even when it comes to working capital, depending if it's unsecured loans, we have ways now where we can navigate a loan facility or a line facility within less than a week with limited financials up to just 3 bank statements. So those are the tools I would say that are very convenient. That's probably outside of what you would say national offering. That can certainly help and support. So once again, you can certainly have a conversation with me or any of my partners.
Thank you so much. That's really crucial information. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here from Bryant University, Professor on International Marketing. We're very happy that you could join us. If you'd like to give your remarks on international marketing considerations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good morning. Welcome to Bryant. We are thrilled to have you here. And Chelsea, thank you for putting this event together. My name is Srđan Zdravković, and I have a few remarks about dealing with this influx of foreign visitors. But before I start, I need your help a bit, just so I can gauge who my audience is. By show of hands, how many Portuguese speakers in a room? Very good. How about Italian speakers? Great. How about French speakers? Oh, wonderful. And any German speakers in the room? 1? 1.5. All right. German speakers are very important to me today because my intro story is German dependent. So I'm just going to share a quick story with you before I turn to some of my remarks. But so I'm a kid of the 70s. I grew up in a country that's no more, Yugoslavia. And Yugoslavia was a big recipient of many foreign tourists. So non-Yugoslavs from all over Europe would come down to our coast to spend summers and enjoy themselves. And as a kid, super weird experience for me was driving through our towns and cities and seeing these signs on every other house in some little towns that read Zimmer Frei, Zimmer Frei, Zimmer Frei, Zimmer Frei. And for many years as a kid, I was under impression that it means something, but it must be something in my language that I simply didn't understand at the time because I was a small child. Well, as I got a bit older, I realized that it's a German phrase, right? Zimmer frei means rooms available here in this house. So if you drove down here from West Germany and you want to spend some time on our coast, we got your original Airbnb. See, we invented it, they just sort of poached it from. I'm kidding. The air mattress thing was the original idea. We didn't have those, at least I don't think. In any case, the story I think is relevant because some numbers tell us 900,000 potential visitors. I mean, 900 people coming in is important, it's valuable, but it's only valuable if they can find you, if they can feel welcomed by you, if they can be understood by you, right? You need that sign that says Zimmer Fry. You need a sign in French or in, well, in our case, it would be French and English, really, two languages that play a big role, right? But Scottish team and English team, I mean, English is given. With Moroccans, Haitians, and French, you have to find some French expertise on your team. So that's essential. So in the context of, I'm a faculty of international marketing here at Bryant. In the context of international marketing, it's definitely not just about translating the message. I mean, that's the foundational element, but you have to go a step or two ahead of that and make sure that you are establishing appropriate cultural connections. People talked about food and banking services. I mean, all these are parts of national norms and habits. So we are now recipient of these people, and we need to adjust to some of their needs, right? But of course, from the marketing standpoint, you need to consider digital connections that you're going to be making with these people where they are, right? So this is, somebody on a panel mentioned being proactive and starting early. I mean, some of these processes really need to start yesterday if you want to see significant return on your marketing investment, if you're really planning on hosting some of these people and benefiting from their visit to the U.S. Remember, it's not about soccer fans, it's not about country soccer fans. You are essentially we are hosting 7 countries to the region. And they're all kind of different from each other. They're unique in culture, they're unique in language. Even though it might be French, it's a different type of French in Haiti than it is in France, right? We know this, so we should not make these assumptions. And speaking of English, hey, remember, when you go to Scotland, there are often times when you have no clue what they're talking about, even though we're all speaking the same language, right? So certain adjustment on our part has to take place. Again, both culturally and digitally. So establishing cultural connections, establishing digital visibility, finding or getting people on staff that speak French, which I think will be quite important for this whole experience. Doing things like optimizing your websites for search for certain words or phrases, such as, where do I find a good pub in an area, right? You talked about local communities and so on. Or where can I find halal food for some of our visitors here to the region will all be quite important. Think about your website's landing pages and whether or not that landing page should include some sort of phrase in French, for example, in this case. Think about establishing an account with WhatsApp business community. WhatsApp is quite prevalent and important for some of these countries, much more than it is here for us in the US. So yes, Google Business is great, and all of you do this, but there are some other communities that you can proactively set up and build some awareness before these visitors show up to New England and Rhode Island. One thing I would consider doing if you are planning on seeing a significant amount of foreign visitors is perhaps establishing some connections or reaching out to some micro-influencers in their countries. I mean, these are the people who will be writing about the team and the World Cup and Smithfield, Rhode Island, and whatever, Providence and Boston and so on. So they could be doing a lot of work on your behalf before people show up here. Since I am one of the faculty here at Bryant, I feel compelled to remind you that you should consider us a resource. My dear colleague right there in the middle of the room, I think he parked himself on purpose there. Marcus Pauku is our director of the International Business Program. He deals on a daily basis with a group of very talented students who can jump in on an internship or a temporary basis and help you out with a few things. There are some French speakers on his team, I know that. In my department, for example, we have some digital marketing experts who are quite capable at helping you out with some of those digital issues that I mentioned earlier. Bottom line, though, businesses that win in this time period, in my view, will be the ones that make these visitors not just welcome, but celebrated and understood, right? You want to make this an authentic experience. And last thing, I think we need to think about this not as a one-off or a temporary event. We need to think about this as Rhode Island's investment for the future. So if we impress these people now, while they're here for soccer, they might return later on for other reasons. So that's what we should think about as well. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Those are many crucial points, and I just want to pick up on the fact that, number one, I think it is, like you said, it is important to even think about reaching these people before they even come here. So I think that's a very crucial point. And then very much so, the professors at Bryant University are wonderful, as well as the student body. So it is very impossible to engage with student projects and then get them involved. And then me with the Rhode Island Small Business Development Center being based here, we can always, create bridges between small businesses, the University of Rhode Island, as well as Bryant University, and both bodies of professors and students. So thank you very much. And thank you very much to everyone on our wonderful panel. Again, thank you for your willingness, your time, your expertise, the incredibly crucial information and resources that you shared with us. We'll just open it up quickly for a few audience questions and then let you get on with your busy days. There's a mic coming, sorry.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is J.R. de Oliveira. I'm with WBIX, a Portuguese radio network. I want to quickly bring my perspective of how much the World Cup represents. 1994, I was running a money remittance business in Massachusetts, some $16 million a year. And I heard that the World Cup was going to be held in U.S. I couldn't pass that. So I had some 30 agents that worked for me, and I said, let's pitch in. Let's spend some money and do some serious advertising for the World Cup. My president didn't know about that. I got to him in New York, and I said, we need to do the World Cup. And he's like, well, it's not very much something that we... I said, well, don't worry about the money. I have the money. So he agreed with it. Bottom line was, post-World Cup, we are running $300 million a year. And the company was, a couple of years later, sold to Western Union for $380 million. So the World Cup is something that brings that kind of exposure. And, being a small business, generally you don't think about the opportunity because you think, okay, I have to advertise on whatever, and it's going to cost me millions of dollars or whatever. There are many ways of doing that. Not everybody's Bank of America that has that capital or the interest in, but there are many ways to explore that. And I just want to let you know that there are a third of the community in Massachusetts and Rhode Island that speak other languages other than English. There are 1.2 million Portuguese speakers, some 800,000 Spanish speaking. It's 2 million people that perhaps you wouldn't think as part of your strategy, as part of your opportunity. Let me tell you, right here under your nose, you have that. And it is so accessible and has it attracts so much business that it's not even funny. So I would like to, to invite you to explore that. And my example was one of many that came from the World Cup with a smile on their faces. Welcome to help you in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. McBride, first off, I want to express my appreciation to Airbnb. I've been doing mission trips to Cuba for 20 years. In 2012, Pope Benedict's visit, we had to go door to door to door to door to get people to share their casa particulars. In 2015, Pope Francis's visit, y'all had been there for 6 months. Over 5,000 people came to Cuba thanks to Airbnb. But the reason I'm here today, in 1994, my company was holding our annual conference at the conference center at Princeton University, which was also housing the Bulgarian national soccer team. We learned that their families were camping out in the Newark airport because they couldn't afford accommodations. Wow. We brought them in. I had an extra bed and a sofa in my room. I had the father and 2 brothers of one of the players staying with us. Ghana and many other countries that are coming here aren't wealthy countries. I would suggest to you that you might want to partner with Bryant and other universities to make their dormitories, et cetera, available on a, and I'm sure you could maybe, because right now Airbnbs are running $3,000 to $7,000 a week. Hotels are $350 a week. So if you work with the universities, I'm sure they'd love the cash flow, and you could offer for affordable housing. How about that?
Without saying more, I can say that that is a great idea, and there are some folks who are already thinking that way. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think great minds think alike.
Good morning. I'm Mark Brodeur. I'm the Vice President of Tourism for the state of Rhode Island under Commerce. And I wanted to thank the panel, and I love the conversation from Bryant, because you're absolutely right. The way we market today and speak to today's consumer is so different. But sitting here and watching these questions, which I love, it isn't pretty much the front line, it's supportive services that are asking questions. Now, everything we do, we're in 6 countries right now. It's translated, it's making sure that we're luring people here to the destination, not just talking about soccer, but all of the what we have going on within the state. In addition, the type of consumers we're expecting aren't just from Ghana. We're looking at the African countries, people Latino, people of color. Rhode Island, Providence is 60% not white. So how we translate in the images that we show of the state are extremely important. One thing to gain today, because we look at these things and there's specific services, and you're like, where will I get that? Have you looked at your business plan lately? And are you interested? This is an opportunity for evergreen change. 900 events happen in the state every year. All off-season tourism is driven by events. How do I fit in? That's the question that you all have today. The SBDC is a concierge service. They're going to work with all of the different entities and whatnot to line you up. The whole offer from Bryant to speak to people in a way that they speak today. They use technology very different when you come in from globally. You're not going to be driving around with your phone on, spending $1,000 like it used to be here. That is what it is for them. How are you finding those hot spots? And now what is it that you're asking for in your language? So if this is truly your audience, but again, supportive services. Our interaction with the consumer is very important. If you go into visitrhodeisland.com, our site isn't B2B, it's B2C. Those are the businesses that you want to reach out to. We have 5,000 rental homes, vacation rentals, in South County alone. People aren't even aware. How is my service or business going to be able to support that, and then how do I get to them? That's the next thing that becomes part of your business plan today. You're all too busy. You're all much too busy to be thinking through all of this stuff. You need to sit and reevaluate what you're doing. Take this opportunity. We're looking globally now. The fun thing about Rhode Island is in Central Falls alone, there are 44 nationalities living there. We are speaking on the East Coast here to a world culture, and we need to make sure that the consumer that is coming into this marketplace is feeling like they are part of it. There's nothing like, I have 5 Spanish journalists coming in this week. I hosted 115 different international journalists last year alone. We're constantly speaking to this consumer. This white old man here is not going to convince anyone to do anything. We need to find the right audiences. We're spending $250,000 on influencers because you can get them for free, but are they speaking to the right people? You have to be scientific. There is such a science to running our businesses today, and that's what's going to answer your questions here. What is my particular science, and how can I line these guys up? You want to make sure your front line, I know I was a kid in the front line of something working with people, and it's like, oh, I'm getting like, I don't know, $4 an hour all the time. I really don't care, just move on. How do we work with the consumer to answer their questions and understand who they are? We have such a global world that we're in today. AI is going to offer a huge amount of opportunity in translating. Is it perfect? No, but it happens. But there are certain ways, is your website, if you're going to be speaking to these people, and depending on that, does it welcome them in there? Oh, I'm terrible. I speak Rhode Island, not even English. What is the word? The native language. No, but the word that they use, like hello, it's such a big, aquaba, it's such a big word for this community. They look for it. So my excitement in coming today, I can sit here and say, okay, I'm not going to remember what he just said, because that's the way I am. I forget as soon as I turn around. But remember SBDC and commerce as your concierge to help retune your business plan. If you haven't had it done, you're not doing the right thing. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. We got a great story from a business perspective. I did want to share one from a fan's perspective. I'm Alex. I'm with Avtech. I'm French, so I was in France in 2018 when we won the World Cup. I want to provide a little bit of, there's a lot of banter between like European fans and how American fans are and how hardcore the Europeans and the Africans are compared to American. We're not going to go too deep into that, but I do want to provide a little bit of context on the teams that are coming in. France has been in 3 finals in a row almost, so they've been doing really, really good. A contender, they're going to be here. England is the nation of football. That's where everything started. Morocco just hosted the African nation. They just went to the final. Incredible engagement there too. Scotland, up and coming as well. A lot of fans coming in. A little bit of context on like when I was in Paris for the final. Picture Paris. Nothing was happening there that day besides the game. Businesses were shut down. Metro was shut down. The fan zone by the Eiffel Tower had 600,000 people 3 hours before the game started. It was a mess. But these are the type of fans that are going to be coming in. So if you're able to lock them in this area, hopefully they go far. You're going to get great value from them too. So hopefully it translates into the type of business that, I forgot your name, I'm sorry, but hopefully it's going to bring that type of growth. So I wanted to share that information too, just to give you guys an idea of the type of people that are coming in as well. Yeah, Brazil and France are playing at the Gillette Stadium in a couple days.
Thank you. We have time for one more quick question.
I just want to add to that to take into consideration Latam, because I'm from the Dominican Republic and many of my friends from there, they love football, and this is very close. So a lot of people, for example, from Dominican Republic, they have a lot of family here in Providence, so it's easy for them. Just come here, buy their ticket, and they have where to stay. So think about that population. Maybe you are not thinking now, but Brazil is very close. Like, they can fly the tickets like $200 or $300 from Puerto Rico. So that population may come here. There's a lot of people, like I know a lot of friends that they go to every FIFA Cup. Every year they have their tickets and they just buy whatever is more comfortable because they are just passionate for the game and it's difficult to get the tickets.
Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to now take a 15-minute break, and we will come back and reconvene at 11:15, where our team of SBD advisors will give some practical action guidance. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second half of the show. This is more of a conversation with some of our advisors at SBDC. I'm Yashwant. I'm with the SBDC. I'm the Providence Center Director. On the panel, we have Chelsea. She's our Northern Regional Director, a former entrepreneur, coach. We have Maggie Longo. She's our Food Systems and Hospitality Consultant. And then we have Trish. She's our Marketing Consultant at SBDC. We have some slides, but you're also welcome to pop questions up as you hear anything. If there's a question you have, we have a microphone going around as well. We'll get started with Chelsea. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please bear with us. We had slight technical difficulties, so we'll see if the slides are able to progress. Are we good? Okay, so I think it's already been stated, but just to reiterate that, our intention for this event was really to create the general awareness, start the conversation, educate you on what we know so far, and empower you. Again, we've heard the word to be proactive, preparedness, and really start this conversation. And that's why we're here. We're here to strengthen all of these relationships and local collaborations and truly build long-lasting relationships that won't just positively impact this World Cup series, but that will be a long-term lasting impact for Rhode Island and the region. And we're here to address the immediate readiness, but also that this hopefully is long-term economic resilience. So a lot of this has been, back one. Yep, there you go. So a lot of this has been, spoken to already, but we wanted a visual representation, again, of the tour, World Cup times, dates, times, the teams that are playing. I think it is, extra crucial to start the conversation now around, 6 p.m. games, 4 p.m. games, and that everyone is going to be out, the bars, the restaurants, the pubs, the cafes, hotel lobbies, everyone is going to be out and about. So if you're a business that's directly impacted and you will be serving and hosting international guests, please be advised to be ready early on the day. We have a lot of businesses that are going to be, not directly impacted. We have a lot of companies that are contractors, roofers, that are out on the road, service-based businesses, massage therapists, hair salons. So it's just really something to consider now, how you're going to handle business operations, your staff, your clientele on these crucial dates and times. It's been spoken to a lot of already, but again, just to highlight the real need to do some research now and understand global soccer World Cup culture. It's been spoken to, but the extreme diversity, multiculturalism, cross-cultural interactions, a lot of group-oriented behavior. It's not just the fans going to the game or the team. It's the whole entire countrymen, fellowmen, the fan base, the fan clubs. There's a lot of cultural rivalries. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of cultural fusion of fashion as well as music. There can be chanting, drumming, rituals, and then also keep in mind, it's been spoken to already, but it's really truly a small world. All of us, as well as everyone coming, extremely digitally and socially connected in real time. Things will be on WhatsApp, things will be on Instagram, back in people's home countries. So just really, understanding the global context here and that we're all in this together. It's been spoken to already, but we just, as the SBDC team, we just really wanted to highlight all the various business sectors that potentially will be interacting with visitors and guests. It might just seem like this is heavy on hospitality, which it is, but just also keep in mind, as our lovely representative of Airbnb said, that it's really, all the businesses where people stay, they interact with all those businesses in the community. So definitely, the retail sector will also be, increase in demand. Personal services, even salons, spas, gyms, obviously the tourism sector. So just really being proactive to think about all these angles and aspects now, and that we can help you do that. This is kind of just like a fun little slide, but I think it also speaks to cultural awareness and authenticity and being able to, again, host all of these international guests. Just some fun things around, a soccer match, goal, it's a pitch, keeper, and some of the, nil and some of the scoring. If you are directly interacting with guests, it might be fun to brush up on your soccer terminology. This is a big one. FIFA is extremely strict, so there are very clear branding don't guidelines. So we wanted to make sure that we, gave out this information. If you have further questions going forward, we're here to help and support. But basically, you cannot use any of the official FIFA logos, marks. You can't say FIFA World Cup. You can't even advertise, World Cup matches. You have to be very careful what you put on your website, on social. This is actually a very serious thing. That slide's coming next. So branding do's, and we will keep talking about this, and Trish will give some specific digital marketing tips. What you can say is really truly leveraging off of all things soccer. Talking about the game, welcoming the world to Rhode Island, and just trying to leverage off of the soccer theme. And then, going forward, some creative ways to think about merchandise, just cross-promoting Rhode Island with soccer, and lots of fun things that we can do there. Apparel, souvenirs, tote bags, and then even to go further, this is what Liz Tanner was talking about, is the process to use the RI Summer of Soccer logo. So these are the two logos that can specifically be used. There's very specific instructions, and this is what Liz was speaking to. So go to this website, contact your local regional tourism council. There is specific branding guidelines on how to use the logos, the sizing. You can't change the colors. There can be no different iterations of these logos. There's no charge for posters, coasters, table tents, window clings, banners. However, that there's some other merch that if you create, if you want to sell other products with logos, that there will be some profit sharing as well as work directly with Ocean State 26 and your local tourism office. But this is a great, tremendous opportunity, and we should be extremely grateful that, that this is in effect.
Do we want to take any questions now, or do you want to keep going?
Are there any urgent questions, or should we?
Urgent.
They're all urgent. Or we can carry on.
So now that you know what you can and can't do, you have to be able to execute, right? So I'm Maggie Longo. I'm the food system, restaurant, and Hospitality Business Advisor at the Hospitality Association. Sorry, Heather, at the SBDC. So all the businesses we've been talking about today are customer-facing, right? They're all service-based businesses, and they're all going to experience some key needs and challenges. We have a way of doing things, and in the city of Providence, typically the summer is considered quiet, right? It often shifts out to the coast. This year will be different. So not only will we have all the excitement associated with Ocean State 2026 and the Summer of Soccer, but the City of Providence has a whole series of events that tie back to it that we don't have all the scheduling on. That'll be important to remember and know, right? So to be operationally ready, you want to think about being flexible service models, and we've talked about that with all of our early panel this morning, and having some sort of a clear flow of process. Staff, and staffing is going to be a challenge, need to be cross-trained, particularly during busy service hours. And inventory management is an essential to avoiding out-of-stocks and delays. There are some national brands who are partners with FIFA, and you may, depending on the type of business that you operate, you may already have been in touch with your brand rep. I know that Anheuser-Busch is involved, right? Budweiser, Pepsi. They're going to have free collateral, free swag, which you heard Rob talk about. Mark, yeah, free. To help promote their brand in-house, but it will be important to know that you're going to be a partner to them and they'll help you with your stocking. Thank you. So, I need to change it here so I can see it. Thank you. Thank you. So, I haven't worked in a World Cup city before. I've worked in Super Bowl cities. So it's a microcosm of what's going to happen to us, right? So every customer-facing operation needs to have event mode. So you have to be service ready. You need to be flexible. Can't always do what you currently do because it's going to change. You need to cross-train staff for busy hours. Some people can do other things even though they don't normally do it. See who wants to step up. And service has to remain consistent under pressure, which is difficult, right? I really encourage everyone. And so one of the things that the SBDC does, and there is a QR code on the table if you're interested in learning more about the organization or connecting back with us, is we can work hand in hand with you to develop these tools. Of course, the folks that know me know there's already a tool that exists, and I can certainly work with any business to help customize that for your particular business. I want you to consider streamlining your menu, things that you're able to produce quickly and not out of stock, right? And to remain constant service levels on. So not a super complicated thing if you're in the food business, but something that you know that has a good cost of return, right? That lets you stay on track and that you can get all the resources for. There should always be a team lead on the floor for every single event. Every single day. This is different. This summer is different. So and it shouldn't be you. As the business owner, it maybe isn't you. It's someone on your team who can run the floor or run the customer service part so you can answer all the problems. Make certain, and Trish will talk about this, that all of your communication to the general public is consistent and current. And she'll talk about best practices for that, right? And I encourage you to rehearse the process. Run a couple of trials. I know it costs money, but it's really money well spent in the end. This one? Down. Okay. So as you think about your menu, right, you have to think about your inventory and you have to protect being able to have your raw materials in-house. I would look at your top 20 sellers, whether it's you're a boutique or you're a restaurant, and those are what you're going to focus on. What interrupts service now? You run out of to-go containers. You have a problem with ice. There's no receipt paper. Someone forgot to place an order. And then I would run demand scenarios like this is your busiest day now. Think of water fire on steroids, really. So these are your busiest days now. So plan at 1.5, 2, and 2.5 for your ordering pars, right? I think ordering windows are going to change. I think they may actually get less frequent because the demand's going to be so great. And occasionally suppliers tend to shift their priorities to folks that purchase the most. So you have to plan ahead. You also need to be ready to shift when there's a problem. What's the lead time? How do you substitute? And what are the approved alternates? If you always buy a 6-ounce burger, but you can only get a 7, who just does that? Do we need an okay, or can we do it, right? Again, with your backup and your restocking cadence, not only will vendors have a challenge getting enough stuff to people in a timely manner, there's going to be road closures that we don't know about. 95 is going to be more difficult than it currently is to navigate. Events at downtown at the City of Providence level, right? Maybe roads are closed, particularly if we have these big activations downtown. Water fire is going to happen at a more frequent cadence. So we have to think about all those things. And then you need to, for the next, you have 90 days, guys. We have a 10-week run up to this. You need to start now. You have to practice now. You want to prevent all these challenges on paper. So it's a game, right? I like puzzles, so you've got to practice now in order to make certain that you don't hit very many glitches when it's time. So think about it. You're going to develop, right? You're going to develop your readiness playbook, and this is what we've been talking about all day. You're going to practice. You're going to engage in some rehearsal to enhance service quality. You're going to decide who are your captains out on the floor or who runs the shop when you're not there. And you're going to maintain clear updates on your policies and procedures to your team, and not only the general public. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Trish, who's going to tell you how to stay engaged with the folks out there.
Thank you, Maggie. My name is Trish White. I'm one of the marketing consultants for the SBDC. So, perfect. So I want to start with a question for everybody, especially those in business. How many people are using AI in their business? Oh, good. This is excellent. All right, perfect. Because I think this is something that's going to help you when you are changing out a lot of your digital marketing or looking for information. AI is definitely going to help you in that process. But one of the things I always do with my clients, I say to them, if I'm looking for a product or service, especially with new people coming into the area, how am I asking it? How am I searching for it on the web? And who's the audience? Who are those people that are searching? Because I don't think we always look at generations and say, oh, this is how we speak to them. But now we do. We're going to have a younger generation of people coming in. So is the language that you're using not only in their language, but is it in their generational tone? Are you searching, are they searching on Google? Google used to be the only place people searched. Now it's AI. Now it's platforms. So people are looking at all different places to find their products and services. Have you optimized your content for the locations of where you are? Do you have a Google map on your website? These are things that are going to help people find you a lot easier. And how many people have an FAQs on their website? Designate it, because this is a great time to be able to answer questions that people may be asking. Today, what we've got to do is we really have to have the answers to the questions that our clients haven't even asked yet. Right. So having that information available online is really important. And then creating consistency for brand recognition. So if you have a logo, make sure that logo is running across all of your networks. If you have a certain banner that sits on your website, make sure that that maybe shows up as the banner on some of your social media, so that when people go looking, they recognize that brand, and they're able to say, oh, that's who it is. So I'm going to go next. And then looking at who is that demographic that's coming in. So we know right now that there's a younger demographic of people that really are following a lot of this World Cup. So when we look at it, most times Gen Z, millennials, but 61% of the people that are going to be coming in are going to be under the age of 45. So how are you adjusting to that? And looking at kind of that focus and that tone. So think about it in your advertising as you're putting things out on Instagram or you're putting things out on Facebook or X. What tone does it have? That's something I do all the time in AI. I throw things in and I go, rewrite this. Give it some SEO, give it some AEO, which is answer engine optimization. It's answering questions, but also give it that generational tone. So let's start with one important thing that you can do, and that is optimizing your Google business profile. How many people go in regularly and update their Google business profile? Okay, this is perfect because the information you're going to get right now is really important. So one of the first things you can do is take your description, throw it into AI, and say, I want you to locate where I am. I want you to tell people how far I am from Gillette Stadium. I want to talk about some of the great things that we serve, and then give them information about maybe some watch parties. But talk about the fact that you're in Boston, you're not far from where the World Cup is going to be, and it will generate this great description. So what I did was I took one of my friends' restaurants and I grabbed their description and I put all that information in. And in the green, you can see where what it did was it highlighted all of those important terms. So now I'm telling people, I'm only 25 minutes from Foxborough. So that's perfect, especially if they're going to matches. And one of the things I'd also do, as much as we're going into Boston Stadium, I think what we have to remember is most people search for Gillette. So still putting something in that says Boston Stadium, parentheses, Gillette Stadium, so that people understand exactly what's going on. Then go back into your, edit your profile and start with business hours and times. You now have the opportunity to go in and add special hours. So if you're going to be open at different times, make people aware of that. The second thing is, if you haven't gone in and looked at your categories lately, you can now put up to 10 categories to describe your business. So especially for restaurants, American restaurant, brunch, you can throw in Haitian, Scottish. There's all different terms you can put in there. So take advantage of being able to add more categories to your profile. Go into your business location and start identifying, number one, where you're located, but then add Foxborough, add Boston, add Providence, add different places and locations of where people can still be searching for you and you have the opportunity to come up. You have 15 opportunities to show up in the Google locations, and the biggest thing that I don't want people to do is basically say, I service all of Massachusetts and I service all of Rhode Island. Why? Because you float. What we want is some actual locations. So take it out as far as you can. Don't go any more than like 2 hours from where you are. So I wouldn't be saying, we service New York, but you could look at it and say Hartford, Cape Cod. You know, put yourself in locations so that when people are searching, you have the opportunity to come up. And lastly, there is a booking link on there. And if you haven't used it for reservations, you can use it for bookings, you can use it for appointments. But if you use a secondary software program that has booking opportunities, no matter what they are, make sure you fill in that button. And lastly, on Google Business Profile, people don't know that you can use a thing called posts. And what posts allow you to do is, you can offer something, so it's an update, it's an offer, it's an event, options with 2 Ps. No, there's really only one, made a mistake. But it gives you the ability to do a description of 1,500 characters, add images or video. It will last for about 7 days, but if they're really good, they last longer. And use the call to action button. My suggestion on all of this is, don't put it out as an ad. Why? Because Google's going to look at it and they're going to say, this is something you should be paying for. So what do we want to do? Let's put questions on there. Let's answer the questions. And then you can always send people back to your events or to whatever is going on within your website. The biggest thing I don't want you to do, don't upload a poster. Don't upload a poster. Have images, have video. Make it emotionally connected. Because if it's just a flyer that's not showing up well, they're probably going to go buy it. So take advantage of using posts. Posts used to be at the bottom of your Google business profile. Recently, they've moved it up towards the top. Post every 7 days. So take advantage of that. Translations. I know people may not have time to be able to put a translation button on their website, but why not learn how you can find the translation button pretty easily? And this is something you can teach your staff too, and that is look for the 3 buttons. The 3 buttons on your laptop, you're going to click on those, it's going to bring you down and you're going to see translate, which allows anybody to translate your website into one of many different languages. It's the same on your phone. Just finding those, open up the website, find those 3 little buttons, click on them, and it's going to bring you down to translate. So if your staff knows how to do this, when they are working with people who are like, do you have the menu in my language? Now you can go in and you can click on it and be able to show it. If you don't have your menus on your website, you should, so that when the translations do go through, people can look at them and use it. So some ideas for, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, because one of the biggest things that you have to remember is a lot of people use X for sporting real time. So they may be over there, but recognize that they're going to do a lot of their engaging and usually looking for events and things like that more on your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But use the hashtags, Summer of Soccer 2026, Foxborough World Cup, Providence Eats, or Providence, Entertainment, near Gillette Stadium. Those are keywords that people are going to start to see. Or put it near, maybe it's near Bryant University, especially if there's an event going on here and people know that one of the teams is staying here. Post 3 to 5 days in advance of some of the things that you're doing. I know you want to get people engaged and knowing what's going to be happening, but most times that's probably the amount of time they're going to be using to search for your product or service prior to that event. Highlight your location. Tell them why it's important, because people are willing to travel that little bit of a distance to be able to come and experience something. Because what do we want in all of this? We want the entertainment, we want a little bit of education, but we want fun. We want to eat, like they said it before, eat, drink, and be merry. And then use real-time stories. So if you have time to be able to record or take pictures, do that. And if you're not good at it, because I know I'm not, I run a lot of events, and at the end of the event, what do I say? Oh my God, I never got a picture. Never got a picture. So set your timer on your smartphone and have it go off halfway through the event or at the beginning of the event. And that's going to remind you to take it out, take a picture, film what's going on, and post it to social. Use things like Linktree. Linktree is that link in bio. So any of those types of things that you can actually put into the URLs of your social media. It's really important because instead of just sending them to your website to be able to just see what's going on, now you're actually allowing them to go directly to where you want them. So in this one, the top of it, it happens to be a chamber, but the top of it, they have FIFA information on the chamber, so that's the first thing you can see. But then everything underneath it is the event. And you click on those links and it takes you right out there. And if you notice, social media is right on the top of it, so they have the ability to find you. And then as you move down on this, you can have as many different selections that you want, getting people over to your social media or over to your website. And then collaborate with local businesses. I mean, you're in it together, and why not bring people into an area for a big event? So look at, are there a number of you that can get together and have like a little program? It's almost like a passport, stamp program. Go and visit all of these places, and maybe at the end of it, they can go in to win something. Share some music or something that might be out in a sidewalk or maybe even in, like a little, grassy knoll in the area. Have contests that will allow people to win different types of information. And one of the big things, I know that a lot of the watch parties and things like that are going to involve families, but making things family-friendly too. Because a lot of times this is going to be a big family event with a lot of generations involved, so make sure that you're having that family-friendly, kid-friendly. And then photo ops. How often do people want to go somewhere and have their picture taken? Think of the big angel wings that are out on buildings somewhere, and what do people do? They stand in front of it and they want that picture taken. So maybe there's a wall or a building that maybe a bunch of people get together and they hire someone to do some chalk work, but making that this one place that people want to visit because they want to have their picture taken. And then use a hashtag program. If you're going to have your picture taken, ask people to hashtag, and then once you're named in the hashtag, you have the ability to share it also. And lastly, I know, and it was so exciting when they talked about, there is a vendor page on the FIFA Boston. It's a little difficult to find sometimes, or sometimes it's there, but this is the short link to it. So take advantage of it, go sign up, be part of that vendor list. We may not know how it's being put together, But at the end of the day, when large groups and organizations are going into FIFA and saying, do you know where we can find this? They're going to be giving them that book or whatever information they have. So why not be on it? It doesn't cost you anything to be on, and for some people, it's not going to be maybe dealing with the exact, dealing with FIFA, but you may be dealing with some of the groups and organizations that are coming in that are privately looking for that information. And that is it. Any questions?
We have one here. You have to, sure.
Yes, she's
Yeah,
gonna-
yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Hello. Can we get some clarity on or direction where to find about the watch parties? We've talked about it a little bit, and clearly there are going to be some massive ones that are, in the town square, whatever it is. But if you have a business that already has TVs that are playing, what are some of the rules around that? Thank you.
Can we get a microphone
Yeah.
over here quick? And I just want to say one thing quick before you respond. So, the license controls is very similar to the NFL. You just can't broadcast a game and say that you're doing it on social media. I had a client recently get a certified letter because they posted another football match, right, a soccer game. And you're not allowed to do that. So if you do show televised sports events, I don't know what the package deals are for the World Cup, but you have to pay, just FYI. Yes, she's going to answer the watch party question.
So we've looked into this. We tried to do, there's like an 11-page document that FIFA has available, and it is on the Ocean State 2026 website. But we've also created a one-page summary of what our interpretation is of those rules, and we have had a lawyer look at it. And I'd be glad to send it to you if you just put info at Rhode Island summerofsoccer.com. We'll send it to you. But basically, if you watch sports as a normal course of business in your business, you're not asking people to pay a particular cover charge to come watch the game that day, and you don't have a sponsor. So I'm a local brewery or whatever, and I'm having Anheuser-Busch sponsoring it. If those things are not happening, then you can watch the game, and you can broadcast it. If you have 1,000 or more people, then there's certain stipulations. But we have that information available to you, and we'd be glad to give you that one-pager. If you just send me, how about send me an email? It's mktalbot@goprovidence.com. TALBOT.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you guys mentioned a lot of the resources. Are there multilingual resource options available for people? Obviously, this is going to be an international competition, and we have international communities that I assume would benefit from that. And also, is the Rhode Island soccer summer thing, is that cross-posted under football as well for international audiences, or is that only under soccer?
I didn't hear the question. So I can say that the SBDC has a variety of multilingual counselors, so we do have support in I don't know, I can't list them all off the top of my head, but we do have multilingual counselors who can help people navigate some of the things. At the state level, I can't answer that. And then what was the second part of that question? I'm sorry.
You guys have talked a lot about like hashtags and cross promotions with Rhode Island Summer of Soccer. I'm just aware that a lot of the world population refers to the sport properly as football. Right. So I was wondering if things are going to be cross-posted, just because otherwise you're going to miss a whole majority of hashtags and trends and postings and things like that, I think.
Yeah.
That's probably, that's back over to them. Tyler, if you could run it, please. Thank you.
I totally love these questions because it gives us a chance to think differently about how we market to the world. And what you're saying is absolutely correct. Just think, for instance, somebody is in Google in Germany and they're going to be coming here and asking a question. Do you think it's in English? Do you think they're going to use terms and things that we're doing? Absolutely not. So what Rhode Island does in all of our global marketing, we're in 10 countries. We actually host our technology in country, and we use a DE site in Germany and whatnot as well. It is so important because of the organic, and I love your speech. I'm going to pay you to do something more detail. The advice we just got about your business profile is insane. Let's think about it. If we think we're going to be speaking to a consumer in English that doesn't speak English, it's not going to happen. So these are the types of things we absolutely do. This is one of the reasons why we bring in global influencers and whatnot, so they're speaking in their language, in their publications, with their loyal fan base. It's one of the integrated opportunities that we do. Now, once we get here, this is the next opportunity. How do we get to speak to these? The truth of the matter is today's savvy audience in Europe that's coming here are very westernized, and they know they have translators on their phones. In this particular case, when we're bringing in a country that is developing, they probably are not as savvy. So it's important when we're doing if this is our audience, we use some of the language so it actually positions. What are we thinking about, And one of the examples I give when I teach this, for instance, somebody is looking for a thing to do for families, and you have as a business, you're doing a flashlight tour. Now we know, it's probably at night, right, we're doing it. How is the consumer going to know that when it's not part of their culture and what they're doing? So we're speaking very basically. We're integrating, if we're looking to be in a particular audience, country, we're looking to integrate some of their language, and the same with the hashtags and whatnot as well. But .com, that's America. It's American. So that's why it's important to take the time and speak with a professional about what you're doing. You might be doing some of it, but not all of it. But your observation is absolutely correct. Yeah. We need to be very careful about how we're hashtagging if we're going to make it to this consumer, in addition to where we're placing our content. All about content development.
Yeah. I know you keep
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know you shared information in regards to the Boston vending listing.
Yeah.
Is there a Rhode Island or a Bryant University listing of procurement of getting on that list as a service provider?
So the way I understand it is the official listing, right, for anything related to the games at Gillette, sorry, Foxborough, is through the Boston FIFA the Boston Engagement website. So anything locally will be through the city and town that is hosting the event. So there hasn't been a lot of call for vendors yet, because I think things are still being finalized, negotiated. It's the way I understand some of it. Oh, you got to pay attention on social media, because I think some of those, so we amplify that at the SBDC. We amplify any sort of opportunities to the general public, not just our clients, obviously. So will, I'm sorry. Yes. Right. Right. On the events. So is there a way for a business who maybe isn't hosting an event but is a food truck or has a retail store or a salon or anything like that? Is there a way for them to list their opportunity so people could see it, could find it? See, we just gave them an idea, gang. That's a good thing. Yeah. Yes, you do. Well, you get an extra croissant. Yeah. Are there any other? We have one in the back still.
Braden Holland with Experience Rhode Island Tours. Since for those, I don't know if anyone else here does tourism or walking tours or anything like that, do you know of any opportunities to get a booth or table or something in or around Gillette to sell products? Do you know of any route to do that, if that's even possible?
I have Team Commerce and Team Summer of Soccer shaking their heads no.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually live just outside of Foxborough, and that place is going to be so tight, and you're going to be driving in only if you have a ticket.
Right.
And they've got all of the merch and all of that stuff tightened up, so it wouldn't be something that I'd be planning for.
There is the opportunity to get on the Rhode Island, I keep forgetting the name of the website.
Summer of Soccer.
There you go, risummerofsoccer.com, correct? To list your opportunity there, because you are a business, so you could be on that website, and people will be using that, visitors will be using that to find things to do. Also, all the Chamber of Commerce will have stuff, all the CVBs will have, opportunities going, and I just think it feels really far away, but it's not. It's 10 weeks away. We have another question in the back? And we have one right up front, I'm sorry. So Tyler, you're right here, and then we have one in, I'm sorry, Justin, and then we have one in the back. I want him to be Tyler.
On the previous question, instead of in Foxborough, would there be an ability for people to have vending booths, information, stuff like that, in the viewing area next to Amtrak in Providence? Is there anything designed for that?
You got to talk to Team Commerce.
Yes, there are going to be opportunities, and that the City of Providence is going to be the one who are hosting that.
Right. We had hoped for Providence to be here today, but they had a travel conflict, so there will be more information available from the city, and we'll help get it out to the public.
One of the things we're learning about here is the importance of events in general. And we talked about this is not going to be 7 weeks and just end and we never see this again. A part of your business focus is how do I partner and where do I have an opportunity to learn? Our visitrhodeisland.com site has 900 events that are happening. Right. Where can my business insert in that? Now, it is an extra step, of course, but there is opportunity there all the time. And these event planners, many times are looking for partners. They'll absolutely be a pay-to-play at all of the events that are happening. We're waiting. We're going to aggregate all of the events that are happening. A lot of soccer-based. We're getting youth teams interested in creating events for the entire season. We want to highlight what we've got going on here. Now, a little nonprofit's going to come in. They're going to do an event. They're not going to have the opportunity to manage food. This is where you can step in if you're a food vendor, of course. These are the things. Signage, who's going to be creating these things. Chambers of Commerce, which are membership organizations, many times are already on these types of things, but they're places for you to be. The other opportunity, again, this enhancement, this SEO, this how I position. Let's think about how you make decisions, and we look and we do a search, and you end up there. That's important. It's all the integration in your business plan. Do that. Take the next step. Look at these, because whatever happens on Rhode Island's Summer Soccer will also be put onto the state tourism website, where media, where I work with media, look at to be generating stories as well. So these are places that if we use this network, place these events and things that you have going on, or work with the community. Many of the communities looking, it's like, I've got this business, what can we do together in general here when there are going to be a lot of people this summer to bring interest to my community? That is going to be a much better opportunity because it's a thing that's happening. You create the event yourself. And again, all off-season especially, but in-season traffic, the event could be a wedding, are driven by events.
I think we have time for maybe one last question, and we're going to start to wrap up.
I'm just wondering, what are the guidelines around sustainability for businesses in terms of waste and making it, like not a lot of stuff going to the Rhode Island landfill and things like that?
I'm going to throw that back over to Mark and his gang. That's an excellent point.
The beauty of it is, one of the things that happened with this whole thing, no one gave us a pot of cash, right? No one, we had asked for 500,000. We've put probably almost $1 million with our international marketing that we're doing, supportive grants and things of that nature. So everybody who does stuff is being asked to step up. And quite honestly, Homeland Security, it's amazing when we don't get to see these things. I go through life with blinders on. all these people that are working on our behalf on transportation, how do we figure that out? Waste disposal, emergency management. People are working full time on this to try to, what's going to happen when there are a lot of people here and people are going to need hospitals? All of this stuff is being worked with. Emergency management, how do we, the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, and I don't want to be a downer, capacity is capacity. We are only going to sell out so many hotel rooms. We're going to have additional house rentals that are going to be happening, things like that. You'll have people probably knock on your door and ask if they can sleep on your floor that are a relative or friend, hopefully. But I mean, there's capacity is capacity. But what will happen is long-term, typically we see Fridays and Saturdays really kind of busy. Sundays slow down, Tuesday. What we'll probably see during this period of time is right through the week, we're going to have our capacity and in certain time frame. Plus this is July. Plus we have somebody that's famously known that already has 5 hotels that is getting married and going to get tremendous world attention. Plus we have America 250 going on. And taking the time to look at our website just to be impressed by the number of events that you people and people in our industry build on a daily basis. But every one of these services, transportation, waste disposal, health, all of them are being addressed in 2 years now of meeting every week on how we're going to manage the situation. A lot of the questions, I don't know if FIFA is here, but they're pretty difficult at coming forth with what the rules are. And it becomes, we kind of look at it, it's like, well, this is how we're interpreting it. Luckily, we have an attorney that said, this is how it looks. We're going to boil it down, give you the cliff notes, and that's what Mary Kay's document does when it comes to hosting and having events. We can't say FIFA, we can't say World Cup. We are lucky to have this event that's going to be going on at Bryant. We can talk about that. That's exciting. And where is there going to be opportunity around that? That will be exciting. So I don't want to go on, but it's being handled.
Thank you very much. We're going to wrap up, and this is the beginning of lots of future conversations. Please make sure that you reach out to the Small Business Development Center, Commerce, risummerofsoccer.com, and we will continue to answer further questions and give out follow-up information. Things are really developing in real time, so sometimes there's not always an exact answer to a question, but lots more to work on together. We're going to have Diane just come back up for a few closing remarks, and thank you very much.
Depending on what we hear also from the public, we're going to do workshops based on what people want that will be effective. For example, updating the Google business profile, a hands-on, quick 30-minute workshop where everyone's on their screen and kind of just follows what's happening in the webinar. And on the downside of things, there's so much potential, but also there's going to be impact. For example, hair salons, where your clients may want to not brace the traffic and come through. So how do you want to prepare for that side of things? There will be impact on your business no matter what. Is it positive? Is it negative? Come chat with us. We'll help you figure it out and try to help you take advantage of whatever's happening. Thank you. Diane.
Nothing much. I just wanted to thank everybody so much for coming. Hopefully you are able to take away some solid information that will help you to make the most of the games. I especially want to thank our SBDC team. Most of them are here today. They really are fantastic for all the hard work they put into this, and to the Chafee team here at Bryant University, just fantastic people. I encourage all of you to touch base with us. We have some of your questions recorded. Anything else that comes up along the way, and I'm sure there'll be many questions along the way, feel free to reach out to us or anybody here. We know this is not going to be the end of the conversation. We expect this to be a continuing dialogue with all of you, and as we get information, we'll get it out to everybody here, and we'll keep you apprised of any future events that we'll be covering the games and how to take advantage of them. So thanks again for coming, and you're welcome to stay and ask us anything that comes to mind, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Thank you.